Everyone knows Romeo and Juliet as the absolute ultimate romance, right? Like the gold standard for true love. But what if I told you that the pop culture version we've all been fed has totally smoothed over the sharp, gritty edges of the actual text? Welcome to This Explainer. Today we are going to dive into a story that is not just some simple, sappy romance. It's actually a fast-moving, incredibly violent tragedy. Sure, it's about young love, but more importantly, it's about family hatred, wildly impulsive choices, and a society that completely fails its own kids. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. In literally the very first minute of the play, before any of the characters even speak to each other, Shakespeare drops a massive spoiler. I mean, the chorus just walks out, delivers the prologue, and explicitly tells the audience, hey, these two lovers are going to die. He literally announces a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. We know the ending before the story even begins. So, that naturally brings us to a huge question, doesn't it? If Shakespeare completely ruins the ending in minute one, why has this play captivated audiences for literally centuries? Well, the real power of the play is in reframing how we actually look at the story. The suspense isn't in wondering whether they survive. We know they don't. The true dramatic power is in watching how they get utterly crushed by the relentless, hateful world around them. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, and you just can't look away. Part 1. The ultimate doomed love story and subverting expectations. To really understand this masterpiece, we basically have to throw away the Valentine's Day cards and look closely at the actual urgent text Shakespeare wrote. It's gritty, it's dangerous, and it is doomed from the very first syllable. Take the phrase star-crossed. Now, today, people use it to mean two people who are absolutely destined to be together, like a match made in heaven. But notice the literal definition here. Star-crossed actually means thwarted by a malevolent fate or astrology. The universe itself is actively hostile to Romeo and Juliet. They aren't meant to succeed. They are literally destined for disaster. Part 2, a world built on hate and the true villain of the play. See, the true villain isn't a single person. It's the environment itself. It's this ancient, oppressive, bloody feud between the Montagues and the Capulets. And this brilliantly illustrates how Shakespeare visually and thematically splits the world of Verona right in half. On one side, you've got the public world. This is the realm of daylight, drawn swords, generational pride, the adults, and hyper-violent characters like Tybalt. It is aggressive and totally unforgiving. Contrasted against this is the private world. This exists in the night, in the shadows. It's the world of poetry, secrecy, youth, and, of course, our lovers, Romeo and Juliet. Their love literally can only exist in the dark, completely hidden away from that violent public sphere. And make no mistake, that public sphere is terrifying. Let's walk through just how deep this hatred runs. The feud infects every single level of society. I mean, the play opens with servants of the two houses insulting each other in the street, biting their thumbs, which, by the way, was a massive insult back then, and instantly drawing swords. Everyday citizens are so fed up they join the brawl with clubs. It gets so out of hand that Prince Aeschylus has to step in and threaten everyone with execution if they fight again. And yet the parents, Lord Capulet and Lord Montague, they still prioritize their ancient unexplained grudges over the actual safety of their city. In an environment like this, love isn't just difficult, it becomes instantly dangerous. Part 3. The danger of fast love and the ticking clock. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the timeline. Inside this absolute pressure cooker of hatred, we introduce our lovers. But, it's not just the feud that zooms them, it's the sheer reckless speed of their decisions. Notice how incredibly compressed this timeline is. We so often think of epic romances spanning years. But look at this. Sunday night, they meet at the Capulet feast, uninvited in Romeo's case. By Monday afternoon, they are secretly married by Friar Laurence. And in the days immediately following, the whole thing tragically unravels, resulting in banishment and death. This entire story takes place over a matter of days. This incredible haste is what makes the romance so unstable and dangerously volatile. We also really need to talk about who is driving these insanely fast decisions. Juliet is not even 14 years old. Her parents and the nurse discuss her age specifically. She is a fortnight and odd days away from her 14th birthday. And I point this out not just as some piece of archaic trivia, but to highlight her incredible bravery, intelligence, and agency. Compared to Romeo, who is honestly pretty dramatic, constantly weeping and desperate, Juliet is incredibly practical. She is actually the one who proposes marriage to secure their bond. In fact, despite her extreme youth, Juliet is really the only one who clearly recognizes the terrifying speed of their situation. During the famous balcony scene, she literally says to Romeo, "It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning." She knows exactly how dangerous this is. She knows the world they live in. But the pull of their affection, and maybe just their desperate desire to escape the suffocating hatred of their families, completely overrides her logic. Part 4. The shift to pure tragedy and the catalyst. So up until Act 3, the play functions almost like a romantic comedy. There's witty banter, secret meetings, a masked ball, but it all pivots on one major catalyst: Mercutio. Romeo's brilliant, vibrant, totally cynical best friend is fatally wounded in a street fight. And as he lies there dying, he finally realizes the sheer senselessness of the feud. He curses both the Montagues and the Capulets, screaming, "A plague of both your houses." This dying curse is the exact moment the story irrevocably turns. The comedy literally dies with Mercutio, and the violent tragedy takes full control. Let's move to and see how this builds into an absolute disaster. It's this fast-paced cascade of impulsive violence. Step 1. Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, instigates a fight and kills Mercutio right under Romeo's arm. Step 2. Romeo, totally consumed by grief and the sudden fiery rage, abandons all thoughts of peace and impulsively slaughters Tybalt in the street. Step 3. The prince, keeping his earlier promise, banishes Romeo from Verona. Just like that, the private world of the lovers collides with the violent public world, and it completely shatters. For Romeo, this punishment of banishment is completely devastating. When he hides in Friar Laurence's cell and hears the news, his reaction is so desperate and dramatic. He literally collapses on the floor weeping, claiming that banished is worse than death. And why? Because the walls of Verona hold Juliet. Being exiled means he is completely cut off from his private world. It brilliantly proves that their isolated private love simply cannot survive the intense pressures of a broken public world. Part 5. The adults who failed them and the enablers. Because, listen, Romeo and Juliet didn't reach this tragic end entirely on their own. If we break down the adults who held power in Verona, we see a complete, catastrophic failure to protect their children. Despite their varied intentions, they literally paved the road to absolute disaster for these two teenagers. First, we have Friar Laurence. His intention was actually pretty noble, right? He wanted to end the feud between the families. But his fatal mistake was agreeing to a secret, hasty marriage between two kids he knew were acting impulsively. Next up, the nurse. She genuinely wanted Juliet's happiness, but she enabled all the secrecy, acted as a go-between, and then emotionally abandoned Juliet when things got really tough. And finally, Lord Capulet. He thinks he's securing Juliet's future by arranging a marriage to the wealthy Count Paris, but his fatal mistake is forcing this rushed marriage onto a grieving, secretly married daughter and literally threatening to throw her out on the streets if she disobeys. It is just a massive failure of communication all around. Part 6. Why it still matters and the major themes. So why are we still talking about a play written over 400 years ago? Well, because it's far more than a sappy romance. Just look at the themes we've uncovered just by sticking to the text. The romance is really merely the vehicle used to explore some of the darkest and most complex parts of human society. Beyond romance, this is a profound study of unchecked violence and what happens when hate becomes normalized. It's about generational pride and elders stubbornly refusing to let go of their anger. It perfectly highlights the extreme vulnerability of youth when left completely unguided. It shows the devastating cost of secrecy. And above all, it is an absolute masterclass in the lethal consequences of poor communication. So, the crucial point is this: Romeo and Juliet's modern resonance isn't just about two teenagers falling in love. It is a deeply tragic story of young people trapped inside massive conflicts they absolutely did not create. It's a stark, heartbreaking reminder of how easily the brightest things in our world, love, youth, and hope, can be completely destroyed when the adult world stubbornly refuses to heal its own divisions. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to consider. Think about the world today. What happens when adults in power choose pride and conflict over understanding? The tragedy of Verona is definitely not locked in the past. The consequences of unchecked hatred are still very much with us. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the classics, and I'll catch you next time.